very attractive market for the gray market, operators. It reduced it to 22% this year is the expectation. It's a market share, right? Numbers are not breakdown because we have a kind of a non-disclosure commitment with all of these guys. But again, as you can see, the Brazilian manufacturers, they already represent 62% of the 16 million computers that will be sold this year in Brazil. They are ranked here. We haven't mentioned, but it is a rank, right? Positivo, Itautec, CCE, Megaware, SEM, Toshiba, which is probably, as I know, the only joint venture Toshiba has in the world is in Brazil with this company called SEMPI. And the others, which is a significant portion of the 62%, as you can see, they are small integrators. It is still a very, very powerful, growing, and solid marketplace in Brazil, right? We have in Brazil approximately 3,000 small integrators spread out throughout the country. These people, they are buying processors, motherboards, memory, hard drives, peripherals, cases, and everything else. So they are responsible for a big, big chunk of the business in Brazil, right? And the international manufacturers, most of them are producing locally already. They respond for 38% of the marketplace. So again, in a rank, HP, Dell, Samsung, Acer, Lenovo, and LG, right? It is a rank, right? We try to kind of create a short list of important tips, right? And then we are here to discuss after the presentation. So number one, of course, analyze the market, right? Which is, you just saw, is a powerful marketplace, growing and solid, right? Final cost of product, it is important. More and more consumers in Brazil, and due to the huge visibility that internet and information is nowadays, they compare, right? They don't buy because you are a nice person anymore, right? They buy because your product is competitive, your price is competitive, you are in a ecosystem that allows them to finance, to pay in installments, whatever. So it is important, right? Final cost. If you have competition installed in the country, right? And if they are assembling here, make sure that you consider it seriously. I mean, really look at it, right? Talk, again, you don't have to own a manufacturing plant or a manufacturing facility in Brazil to produce locally here anymore. As we just mentioned, there are a lot of CMs already doing business in Brazil. And these guys, they are capable of doing from a, from a mobile phone up to a very powerful server. I mean, it's just a matter of having the right agreement with them, right? Again, depending on the burden, the tax and the cascade of taxation could cause, assembling here, of course, is the best option. A nightmare in Brazil is RMA, right? RMA is really a nightmare. So we'll be walking around here. If you want to talk about RMAs, we can have days, months, or weeks, or whatever to talk about RMAs. It's the worst nightmare in Brazil. So if you produce hardware, it's something that you have to consider is a way to take care of it, right? To be able to do business locally, right? Of course, demand generation and marketing funds for the whole group, as we just mentioned, is a very important issue, right? Just a very simple SWOT analysis here. So strengths. Repeating myself, strong economy, sovereign risk is low, and it will be low and will keep going down, it is for sure. The Class C consumption potential is growing. It's visible, statistic is available. GDP growth is above the average in the rest of the world, and plenty of foreign companies are already doing business in Brazil for years, so are very clear strengths, right? Weaknesses, For sure, fiscal war. Brazil is a complex fiscal environment. I can tell you that. There is a phrase here that says that we have different taxes in 27 states. Brazil is almost like Europe, right? 27 countries within one country, but the countries are states. They have to respond to the federal government, but they are able to create tax by themselves. So again, it's a tough issue to deal with. There is a delay, unfortunately, you know, political issues. So we would like it to be much more faster and much more expedite. So tax, social security, labor, politics, so it should be faster, but it's not, right? Unfortunately. It is coming, but not as fast as we like. Well, opportunities, sure. The World Cup is coming, 2014, Olympic Games, and still the incentives to local production will be around for years. The government, every year they show signs that they will keep maintaining and improving the tax exemptions and benefits for people that are thinking in terms of coming to Brazil and create jobs and do local production, etc. Right? And the big threats, the tax, the regulations that comes from the government. So here is our sales speech. Say, it's better for you to talk with us. We know how to do business here, right? We've been here for years. There are some members in the group that are doing business in the marketplace for over 25 years. So we know the place. We know Brazil. We know the country. We know to deal with the regulations. We know how it works, right? There is a very, very tough and regulated law that will deal with solid waste, and it's something that we for sure have to pay a lot of attention because we produce solid waste. So it's something important to take a look. You have to invest and create appropriate infrastructure, so it is a challenge for you and for us as well as the partners, right? And that is something that we are facing. There are signs in the horizon that it will be better, but for now, there is a clear shortage of skilled labor available in the marketplace. So it's something that we are dealing with, but again, it's a threat, right? And labor cost. You all know that labor cost in Brazil is probably higher than, maybe not only, maybe Italy probably is higher than us, as I know, but we are high. So we are not that controlled as Italy, where you can really fire an employee if you hire one. But again, we have very, very high labor costs in the country, right? Okay, here we are. Questions and answers. You can bring the lights. We are here. Vladimir is our executive director. He is responsible for running the day-by-day operations of the association. José Bublitis is one of our vice president, as well as country manager of one of our members, S&D. And Marco Chic is sitting on the audience, but is our vice president as well. Is president of AGIS, which is one of our members. And I am one of the founders and vice president of officer, one of the members as well. So we are at your disposal. Go ahead, feel free, ask questions. We don't promise you that we will answer, but again.
Just raise your hand if you're interested in asking a question of one of these four gentlemen. Again, just raise your hand if you're interested in asking a question of these gentlemen. Also wanted to give you an opportunity if you wanted to say a few words. We're equipped in English, Portuguese, and Spanish, so don't hesitate to speak in the language that you're most comfortable with. First, in the audience, raise your hand. Is there anything that you would like to question, anything you'd like to explore a little bit more deeply from what you heard? In the back of the room. Wait for the microphone if you would, please. And if you'll give your name and company before asking the question.
Hi, my name is James. I'm with a company called LifeProof, and we make cases for the iPhone that are waterproof and shockproof. And so I was noticing in your discussion that you talked about the growing market for mobile phones and tablet PCs, and you also talked about Microsoft. Can you talk a little bit about what, Apple's emergence into the Brazilian market, what their market share is, or what their, how many people have Apple mobile devices?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, Apple is, as the rest of the world, right, is a company that changed from the day they started doing their stuff, which was like buying Ferraris, right? So a few people buy Ferraris, but some people do it. So, but nowadays they become an affordable Ferrari. So everyone want to have one and want to buy one. So again, for you that are in this business, all I can tell you is that it is a booming marketplace in Brazil. They are the fast-selling item in the mobile marketplace. So iPhones are everywhere. They sell like crazy. People really can really afford to supply the demand. There are more demand than there are product available in the marketplace. One of the things that you have to pay attention is that in the phone business, it is pretty much in the hands of the operators, right? So you either do business with operators or you don't do the business, right? So you have to talk with Vivo, Claro, Oi, and everyone because they own this, mobile phone business. Accessories is a different story because there are plenty of retail stores spread out throughout the country. And again, iPhone business is growing like crazy in this specific space, right? And iPads, well, according to them, they will do here what they did so far in the rest of the world. They want to keep, the small 80% of the market business for themselves. So Foxconn is planning to sell and to manufacture as many units as they can, right? It will be only constrained probably by supply and allocation. That will be the only burden and the only threat that they will face. But despite these two things, there will be no limits for them to grow in the marketplace. And I see for you that are doing business in the mobile, Samsung will be big as well. They are really fighting in this space with the Galaxy and their smartphone solutions. LG, it's okay. Okay, they haven't proven themselves yet, but Samsung do, right? Samsung did, so they have a product that has been adopted already. And there are Motorola, and Motorola has a good thing because they have manufacturing facilities in Brazil. And Motorola is somehow attached to Google, and well, we'll see. That will be a big fight, giant fight. Okay.
Again, raise your hand if you want to address a question. Okay. And again, just to remind you, if you'd give us your name and your company.
Javier Odoardi from The Wise Computer. Thank you so much for the insights on the Brazilian market. I really appreciate it. Now, when I was looking at the IT market in Brazil, and also, the government changes from 2009 to 2010, if I recall correctly, and looking at the tips that you put together, I think they're pretty good for a vendor, for a manufacturer. However, as a distributor, penetrating the Brazilian market is not an easy task. So the question is, what will be the best approach as a distributor from overseas to penetrate the Brazilian market? Is that either to creating a bridge through an alliance, or will that be to basically come and open an office and become part of Abradisti and be the 26th member of your group? So what will be the best approach? Because I know that even though you mentioned that the market has opened, from the distributor perspective, every day becomes, the barriers and the inhibitors become higher and higher. So what would be your suggestion?